Welcome to Unit 2. In Unit 2, we'll be looking more at Unity. I'm going to walk you through a general layout of the next couple units and what we'll be doing in this unit and the next here. We'll be using a fair amount of content from this Teaching Game Design and Development course from Unity. So this is a Unity course that's developed and free for you to use. It's broken up into different sections. So one of them is the tutorial on using Unity interface. We won't be going over this specifically. I do have it linked right here, and it is a good introduction to the Unity interface, and you're welcome to try that out. Similar for the Unity Playground. What we will be using is this Creator Kit, the puzzle one here. We'll be doing that in this unit is one of the first learning activities, and then for the second learning activity we'll be using this RGB Creator Kit. This is a 3D game, and this introduces you to 2D gaming. We'll also be doing this rollerball tutorial as your first assignment in this. This version of this tutorial is actually deprecated and has been replaced with a newer one. So in this unit, let me go back here. When you go into this rollerball, these links will link to the newer version, not this deprecate. This actually isn't a bad tutorial. You can still do this, but this version introduces some of the new rendering and interface user interface systems that have just recently been added to Unity, and so that's not a bad tutorial to go over for that. Now, in the subsequent unit, next unit, unit 3, we'll be going over scripting, and we'll go over some of this scripting tutorial. Some of this other stuff we may or may not get to in that stuff, but that's what we'll be kind of laying out. So that's kind of the basics of your Unity experience here that we'll be talking about. And again, we also link to the Unity Playground tutorial, which is I think that's too basic for this course, but if you want, you can cover that. That's part of this whole tutorial here. So let's talk about the Unity manual then. So the Unity manual is actually a relatively good resource for using Unity. And I suggest you bookmark it and be able to return and search for it. It does come up generally with Google searches. It is indexed on Google, but often it's very useful just to come here and find this resource. So a couple things. First, at the upper left-hand corner, you can select what version of Unity you're using for this. And again, these are long-term support versions, and so we'll be using 220.3 for this. And then there's what's nice about this manual is it's not just set up on some manuals where it's just you have to look up a specific object or a specific routine and it'll tell you the detailed manual page for that. It is actually set up more as a tutorial or a higher level stuff. So like if you go into working with Unity, it talks about installing Unity, upgrading Unity, Unity's interface. So it walks you through all the different parts of the Unity interface. This is the menu to toolbar. This is the hierarchy. This is the inspector. This is the project windows. Good things to learn and use. And again, we'll give you more details on it. And then you can actually go into those in learn more about each one of those components and how the different parts of them work. So it's not bad to just go through this and make sure you're understanding how these different interfaces work and how you expand and use these. It talks about some of the shortcuts and some of the additional windows. It talks about the console window and stuff like that. So this is a good place. So the Unity interface, same with creating gameplay. It talks about what scenes are, what game objects are. What prefabs are, what layers are, constraints, cameras, lights, publishing builds here. So, and again, similarly for inputs and graphics and that sort of stuff, there's a lot of good material for this. So I suggest you can also do a search. I often come here and do a search for something I'm looking at and then read the material on that here. One thing I am going to just jump into is this builds and talking about building things and how you would set up builds. So I'm just going to open up a simple Unity project so we can look at that. So the manual talks about how to publish builds here. So let's just jump into a Unity project. This is just a simple Unity project. And if I go up to File, Build Settings, I can see that. Now, in a typical Unity project, you can run the game in the editor. You can just hit the Run button up here and run the game and run it in the editor. But frequently you want to, not everyone has the editor, of course. We want to build it for other devices, and that's what this build window does. The most common way is build it for Mac, PC, or Linux. So you can click on that and you can select what types. And then under Windows, you can say 32-bit or 64-bit. And again, you need a Mac in order generally to build for a Mac environment. And on Windows, I can only build for Windows. There's also WebGL, which is an environment where you can build and publish right to the website. And Unity has a web space where you can share games on there. To do that, you have to install that. And so they talk a little bit about building and installing stuff, and some of the tutorials will walk you through that for Unity. Now you can only do that on some events. So if I have this installed, I actually have to make sure this is installed in Unity Hub. So if I run Unity Hub and go down to installs, here's this version of Unity 2020.3. I can click on here and I can add modules. Now if you're in the computer labs, this might not be available, or if you did a locate to locate that, you may not be able to have this. This only works if you've installed this version through the Unity Hub. But I can hit add modules, and then here I can add support for like WebGL builds. It's installed. Again, I could actually add some support for Mac builds or iOS builds and stuff like that for this. Now, depending on which of those you've installed here, you can have these available here. We won't be doing console builds like PS4 or Xbox One games. We will talk a little bit about like Android and iOS builds. Generally, for iOS builds, you need to be on a Mac in order to set it up on a thing. And Android builds will generally use Android Studio. If you have Android Studio, if you've taken our mobile apps course, you might already have Android Studio installed. And then it's fairly easy to then add this Android setup for that. But this is ways we can build. So we'll see that, and we'll do that more later on. But that's, again, back to the manual. The manual walks you through and talks to you a little bit about those build systems. So again, pay attention to the man page here and being able to access the different manual pages. Hope you enjoyed this.